name's Ehsen Nadeem and I'm on Music and Sound Production Technology, and the title of my dissertation is An Investigation into the Effects Music Streaming has had on the distribution and consumption within the commercial music industry. When I did my summer placement last year, I had a lot of talk with people who were working with me, and it was sort of like music streaming is the current, or the most currently, like, topic of discussion within the music industry at the moment. So everybody's talking about it. It's like the new method of consumption, and there was so much like within it that I could talk about that I narrowed it down to distribution and consumption as sort of an overview into most of the issues within music streaming at the moment. I split my research up into 4 different areas. So it was, one of the areas was looking at a lot of reports and stuff. So I used organisations like BPI and IPI mainly to see where music was going at the moment, how people were consuming it, how people listened to it. So loads of different statistics. I dated back to like 2000. I was looking at reports from, and then I had a load of reports as well based on studies on where people thought music industry was going, like from as early as the 90s and the 80s as well. So looking at the development and evolution of music formats and listening formats. So that was sort of a recording industry overview. I then had changes to the recording industry as well over the years. So the business model, looking at the way artists are paid, looking at the way record labels work, stuff like that. And then I also had it onto the technical tests that I looked at, so which looked at studies that looked at the way distribution and formats have changed sonic quality of music. So looking at how music streaming, how that changed sort of the sonic quality of music, looking at different compression formats, looking at all that sort of stuff as well. I think everything directed, especially in the music industry, the overview of the recording industry, everything directs that music streaming is the fastest growing format, and that digital music has now overcome physical formats, and they are the way that it will go. There's been a sort of resurgence of some different formats like vinyl and stuff, but everything's going in the direction that digital music, especially, and music streaming are the way forward. That's what people are going to be using. Sort of physical formats are dying out with a little bit of resilience, and then when it comes to sort of things like sonic quality, I'd say that the outcomes were sort of that music streaming, it all depends on where people listen to music, how they listen to music. There's so many different factors. There was never any sort of right or wrong answer, especially in my lit review, like sort of looking at research. There were so many different opinions that, you know, it all depends. Some people are sort of musos think that, you know, every music should be listened to in FLAC quality all the time, and that you can always hear the difference wherever you are. Whereas I'd argue if I'm sitting in my car driving along, I can hear the difference between YouTube video and a FLAC quality sort of file. So lots of different opinions, and mainly it was condensing down a lot of information that I had with my literature. Because mine was a research project, I didn't make any hardware or use many software tools, but I did use Max 7 to create a A/B tester for my technical test. For my dissertation, I then did a technical test, which I used Max 7 to do A/B testing, which was so I used 5 different songs in which I'd sit people down in the studio, or I'd sit them down on headphones and they could do the test. They'd fill out a short survey and questionnaire, and that would sort of get a background into their music listening habits and their consumption habits and stuff like that, and sort of whether they worked in the music industry or studying it. And I tested them on 5 different songs, or whether they could flip between A or B to see if they could tell, or it wasn't really what they could tell, it was I was asking them which they preferred. So I wanted to see whether people actually preferred the sound of an MP3 to a WAV file in certain listening conditions. So I picked like 5 different genres of music, and they could sit down and they flick through and they tell me A or B which they preferred. And then I also did research interviews in which I went and talked to people in the industry. So I interviewed an academic from Bournemouth University. He was a cultural and economics professor. I interviewed somebody from Sony Music record label. I interviewed somebody from PPL who also ran their own streaming services, and then somebody from an independent label, and somebody who worked at EMI Music Publishing. Basically, I had such a wide, my project was so broad that there was no sort of, this is the question, this is the answer. And within my testing as well, I had such small sample sizes within researching and within within the interviews and within the technical test, that you could never really say that I had a definitive answer. But I mean, I'd say, especially for my lit review and all the research and all, that again, digital music is on the rise. Major streaming services have become major players, not only in technology but in the music industry as well. Um, and that I think that the ball's just going to keep on rolling with this, and that the argument I had about high resolution audio and using and sonic quality within it is sort of on the back burner and quite irrelevant unless you're a muso and a music head. Um, but yeah, that really the average Joe Bloggs consumer is going to they're going to be turned to music streaming more and more. And it really is the way that the music industry is going right now. Yeah, I had a lot of enlightening conversations with people during my interviews for this project. They were definitely the best part of the research, especially. I mean, I found out a lot of interesting things from all my lit review and all the books I read and the reports and stuff. But I mean, going out and talking to people in the industry who work for big organisations is really helpful and really useful. And I think it's somewhere that I could go further and research further into.